Mukesh Ambani's Reliance disrupted telecom with Jio. Now it's coming for your cola. Is Varun Beverages, India's PepsiCo bottler, the next target? Just like how Grasim and JSW are challenging the domain of Asian paints in the paints industry. But competition isn't the only risk for Varun Beverages. The first big challenge is the overseas expansion. Varun Beverages के अंतर्राष्ट्रीय विस्तार को लेकर निवेशकों में चिंता बढ़ रही है. Second is the diversification bet in non-cola segment. नई कैटेगरी में कदम रखना कई तरह से जोखिम ला सकता है. And third are the valuation concerns. Is Varun Beverages simply too expensive? 4 slides में ये बड़े रिस्क को समझते हैं डिटेल में.
So Varun Beverages is a 30-year-old player where they are relatively new entrant. And Varun Beverages का जो market share है वो अभी वो 70 to 80% PepsiCo का सारा volume handle करते हैं. And they are the largest bottler for PepsiCo globally. Second आएंगे pricing strategy में. यहाँ पर they are reacting with discounts. So that will impact the margins. And Reliance is a bit aggressive. They have come with rupees 10 PET bottles. Now Varun Beverages, they manage the full downstream supply, production, distribution, retail margin. So therefore any discounts or trade scheme or promotional pricing are funded and executed by Varun Beverages, not by PepsiCo. So PepsiCo may support with marketing, co-investment or brand level campaign, but price cuts at the retail level come from Varun Beverages margins. So you can see यहाँ पर एक बहुत बड़ा challenge है on the pricing side because that will impact the margins, and this is something we have seen in the Asian paint, where Grasim, JSW, a lot of new players came in, and that is impacting the margins of Asian paint. और वैसे ही stock market में चल नहीं रहा. Distribution channel देखें तो इनके existing channels हैं, and Reliance has some 18,000 plus Jio Mart, Smart Bazaar outlets. Financial strategy, ये एक बहुत बड़ा important point है. Growing BTL spend and deep pocket margin war. इसको जरा हम detail में समझते हैं. Now BTL refers to below the line promotions such as consumer offers, product visibility campaign, and retail schemes to maintain competitive parity in modern trade and general trade outlet. And next point में आते हैं margin impact that we have seen, profitability strained, and here they are aiming for market share. So let's look at the overseas expansion piece जहाँ पर कुछ challenges दिख रहे हैं. So पहले let's understand the strategy. Now the Varun Beverages strategy aligns with the PepsiCo's global strategy. Second, the focus is on strategic M&As globally. And third is the volume-led growth in new market. जितना भी expansion Varun Beverages ने globally किया है वो via M&A किया है. And currently 25% of their sales or revenue comes from the overseas market. तो वो एक 25% वाला जो share है वहाँ पर क्या challenge है, let's understand that. So there are two challenges. One is the long-term growth optionality, and second is the capital risk and regulatory hurdles. This is very important under the overseas expansion. So on the regulatory side, Ghana में और तंजानिया में दोनों लॉन्चेस गॉट डिलेड. तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा इशू है रेगुलेटरी पार्ट का. एंड सेकंड इज द जिम्बाब्वे. यहाँ पर एक नया सुगर टैक्स आया है, and that has impacted the volumes of the company. So the Zimbabwean government introduced a new sugar tax, and that is aimed at discouraging high sugar product consumption. Similar to health taxes in many countries. Now there is an immediate hit to volumes of Varun Beverages as product prices rose and consumer demand dropped temporarily. Now on this long-term growth optionality, November 2024 last year में उन्हें 7,500 करोड़ का QIP किया है. So they have raised lot of new capital, and a part of the capital is now going to overseas expansion. So अगर हम future देखें, so companies now investing on the global side, and the fundraise reflects Varun Beverages global ambition, especially in high growth under penetrated beverages market in Africa, where it can replicate its India playbook. So other key factor to understand is the timing. Now Varun Beverages ने capital तब raise करी जब एक competitive pressure आ रहा है Reliance से, and उस time में now they are ready with capital, but that capital has to give return. That is very important. Now, non-cola segment is going to be the new battleground for Varun Beverages, where there are already a lot of domestic players.
So Varun Beverages is building a smartly segmented army. So it has diversified across energy, hydration and the digestion segment, making it resilient to Reliance Cola war. Now let's look at the three key products. One is the Sting Gold. So Sting Gold was launched in March 25. The addressable market is around 3,500 to 4,000 crore in this segment, and this is targeted at Gen Z, millennials and semi-urban consumer looking for energy, without extreme sugar and caffeine. Second है, 20 रुपए का that Gatorade, pack. This is a very affordable hydration solution. Now hydration में जो addressable market है वो है 2,500 से 3,000 crore, and it is expanding. So the target audience is fitness enthusiasts, gym goers, school, college youths, general hydration seeker. Now third is the upcoming Jeera drink. This is currently in the testing phase, and this is also a very promising product. Now the addressable market for Jeera flavor drink is around 4,000 to 5,000 crore.
So this is the final chart on valuation. Pehla hai price to free cash, highly inflated, based on cash flows, and we'll come to detail later. Second is the DCF, discount cash flow, significantly overvalued under current assumptions. Third is the intrinsic value, moderately overvalued based on average intrinsic value. And finally is the peer adjusted PE, slightly overvalued compared to peers. So let's understand the first and the second one in more detail. Now let's understand the price to free cash flow and the discounted cash flow in more detail. If you look at the price to free cash flow, Varun Beverages is trading at 83 times the cash it actually generates. If you look at United Breweries, the beer segment, it is around 42 times. Radico Khaitan, if you look at in the spirit segment, is around 40 times. Tata Consumer Product, they are into packaged beverages, it is around 55 to 60 times. Nestle is around 70 to 75 times. And Varun Beverages is 83 times, much higher than the peers. Second is the discounted cash flow valuation model. Now, it looks at the future cash flows and discount them to present value. So at around 450 or 460, the market is pricing in extreme future optimism. It appears 50 to 60% overvalued with growth expectation, baked in the price. Similarly, if you look at Tata Consumer, it is near to its fair value. If you look at Nestle, slightly expensive. If you look at Britannia, largely in sync, So all the peer groups are in a way, closer to their intrinsic value. So as you can see, Campa Cola from Reliance Retail is going to be the biggest competitor of Varun Beverages going forward. And Varun Beverages is betting on two sides. One is the international expansion, especially in markets like Africa. Second is the non-cola segment. And we have to see how this bet, plays out.
If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next one.